Souquet would be eliminated. But if Souquet wins, they'll both have won one match. He'll then be on 19 racks, and if Ouschan has lost, the most he can possibly have is 17. So essentially, it's a straight fight. I've heard the term winner stays on. And so many pool matches in pubs down the years. Well, here it is now on a big stage featuring professionals. Winner of this stays for Group 3. Loser goes home. So I'm Michael McMullen. Carl Boyes is alongside me for this one. And really, Carl, Albin Ouschan, he's let his head drift all over the place, really, and he's now got to put all that out of his mind and just focus on this one match to try to stay in the tournament.
Yeah, his concentration has dropped a lot. He's let the emotions get the better of him, and now he's found himself in this situation where he's got to win the match. But look at the break shot he's had here. He's potted 4 balls and he's got the split of dreams. These are pretty much all over the pocket, so...
The Split of Dreams, that was Kevin Costner's lesser known movie, wasn't it?
That's right, and just look at these balls. It's literally just connect the dots.
That's exactly what he needed, isn't it? Because in his previous match that we saw just a few minutes ago, he seemed to feel everything was going against him. He was waving his cue all around the place, throwing his hands up in the air. But things fell very nicely for him there. It was a good break-off. It's surely going to set him up for a very swift 1-0 lead.
Yeah, and you would have to think Ralph's looking at the table thinking, not again, because nothing has gone right for Ralf Souquet today.
Well, this must be just about the fastest rack of the tournament so far. And Albin Ouschan has won it. So in this basement battle, he's off to an ideal start. Ralf Souquet, having lost every match, probably can't quite believe he's going into this one still in with some hope of going through. Chris Robinson last night had lost all of his first 5. But the way that group had played out, he knew he was on his way out of the tournament. Seemed to free him up a bit against Kelly Fisher and played a bit better and won the match. Albin Ouschan started with back-to-back 5-2 defeats in his first 2 matches against Niels Fine and David O'Cady. Bizarrely, the one match he's won has been the one that you would think would be his hardest, against Eklund Kachi. He won that in a hill-hill finish, but then lost to Kelly Fisher. We saw him lose to Miszko Fortunski just a few minutes ago.
Current scores 1-0 in favor of Mr. Ouschan. Mr. Souquet, break.
Things go from bad to worse today for Ralf. Scratches on the break. It was a poor break, to be fair. Arced it straight over into the side pocket. Albin Ouschan, ball in hand.
Yeah, now he's just got to get down and start playing these shots if he can, rather than looking around to see what can go wrong. He's done a bit too much of that so far.
Yeah, quick glance at the table. The red 3 ball up top end near the pink 4. That's what he's just looking at. He's looking at where he can put the cue ball after potting the 1 ball to make it a natural angle to get on that red 3. So there's a bit of work to do. I think he's just going to try and get the cue ball over onto the right-hand rail. If he can get it as close as he possibly can to the rail, this is fine. So now he's got a little angle, and he's going to stun this with a bit of left in between the brown 7 and the 9 ball off this left side rail. Pace is key. Now what he would love to do is, if he can find the correct line, he'd love it if he could hit a third rail. If not, pace is key.
Early in the rack, but this could be the key shot. Oh wow, all that talk about position and pace, and he's missed a routine pot on the 2.
Yeah, and I've just looked where he's knocked the 8 ball. I think he's knocked the 8 into a position where the 3 now doesn't go, so Ralf must just be thinking, what is going on here today?
Yeah, you can see it there, clearly stops the 3 from going.
Over on table 2, quick fire stuff. That match is tied at 1-1. Of course, Niels Fine just needs 2 racks to advance into the semi-finals. That's right, isn't it, Michael?
Yeah, because even if he was to lose 5-2, he'd join Al-Qaedi on 3 matches won, but he'd have won 20 racks across his 6 matches. Al-Qaedi finished with 19 racks won, so therefore Fine would definitely finish in the top 4. Remember, everyone but the loser of this match will still play a further part. Obviously the group winner will be into the winners group next Monday, but all the others, apart from whoever finishes 7th, will return tomorrow. 2 new players coming in, Darren Appleton and Billy Thorpe, who's the only remaining American in the tournament after Chris Robinson's elimination last night.
Yeah, and come tomorrow, Darren might be the only British player left, because Kelly Fisher has advanced to the semi-finals, so she's got a chance to qualify. Of course, she's got to win the semis and the final tonight. If she does that, 2 British players have won Group 1 and 2. So Ralf played a pretty good shot on the 2 ball to, you know, get the cue ball back up, and he were kind of just playing a bit of a duck shot there. He knew the 3 was going to stay around the top end of the table. And we might see Albin. I was thinking, would he play a bank shot? Maybe not. There he is, Ralf Souquet, 52 years of age, won everything Pool has had to offer over the years. He has seen everything this game throws at you, so he's not fazed about anything. He will approach this match the same as he approaches every match. Well, would you look at this, Albin Ouschan. Over the last 24 hours, we have seen every single emotion. Now, I don't believe he was trying to kill the cue ball in behind the 4. 3 ball comes down, flicks the 7. Albin Ouschan is still at the table, and he's hooked.
It's all really been downhill for him since, well, around about midnight. He'd got through a tough semi-final against Niels Fine, and then lost the final. He was all over the place mentally towards the end of that match, looked exhausted as well. Really, he's continued in that vein for much of today. He did get his act together for a while to beat Eklund Kachi. He looked focused then. But then you've seen in the evening's play, 1 or 2 things have gone against him. Head's gone down again, and he's just continued in that rut.
Foul.
It was a tricky escape. He's missed the 3 ball. Ralf Souquet has ball in hand. We said yesterday, Michael, didn't we, that, you know, the last match of the evening, he's not always going to be like a lap of honour match. We just knew something like this was going to happen, and here it is.
Well, there's a lot at stake on both tables. The only difference being, on the other one, it's just a matter of one player trying to win a couple of racks. Here, it's winner takes all, in terms of effectively claiming the last place in Group 3.
Ralph's got to be a little bit careful here. He's on the purple 5-ball next after this shot, so he's got to navigate the correct angle. I think he's playing this with a bit of low left, and he's going to try and hit the rail where his chalk is, and he's lost it. This is the problem. This is all about pace now, because he's gone towards the corner. If he's straight, he's going to have issues. If anything has gone a little bit southwest of his game, it is his long potting. So we would love a little angle here so he can get the cue ball away from the rail. The overhead camera tells us it does look straight. And of course, if this is straight and he doesn't have an angle, he's just got to roll this through, and as I said, not easy. That's why he's tried to pinch a bit. He didn't want to back himself to knock the long ball, and that's a huge mistake there from Ralf. And it's been the story of the day. Many missed pots for the Kaiser. Albin has been gifted a wonderful opportunity to take a 2-0 lead.
Over on the other table, Neil's fine. Still waiting for the second rack that he needs. He's 2-1 down now against Ekland Kachi. And just to say, in terms of finishing in first place, Kachi will do that if he wins that match. If he doesn't, he'll go to Fortunski.
Yeah, I think the right shot for Ralf there was to just roll it in and back yourself to knock the long 6. But I think because he's been missing a few long balls and he's not quite feeling at the races, he's tried to pinch a bit of the pocket, and that is what has ultimately cost him the second rack.
Albin Ouschan needs to get his head together if he's to stay in this tournament, and the early signs are reasonably positive. He leads Ralf Souquet by 2-0.
Maybe this is the shake-up Albin Ouschan needed. If he can survive this scare and come back tomorrow, I think we'll see a fresh and, you know, a new mindset for Albin. He's better than this. He shouldn't really be showing this mindset. He's got a wonderful mindset for the game of pool and great composure. That's why he's done well in Mosconi Cups and World Cups of pools, and he's a world 9-ball champion, and, you know, he's letting himself down a bit, to be fair.
Yeah, and you used the word fresh there, Carl. I think that was something he was always going to be struggling to be today after battling all the way to 1 o'clock this morning. Well, if he does get through here, that's his involvement in this group over by about sort of 9:30, 9:45. Go away, get plenty of sleep, and come back properly refreshed tomorrow, and be a completely different day.
Yeah, what a difference a day makes. 24 hours later, he's playing a match to stay in the tournament. Last night, he was playing a match to get through to the winners' final.
Well, the last time he broke, he made 4 balls and ran out from there.
Cue ball's close, and he's turned away in disgust, and he's not seen it. He's not seen that the 7 balls come and saved his bacon. And, you know, one thing I will say is he's been moaning a lot about a little bit of the pool rolls, and to be honest, from what I've seen, he's having more than his fair share of pool rolls. So they see the brown 7 come and stop that cue ball going in, and it has to be said, Michael, he's got another lovely table.
Sort of feel now he needs to stay in this. You think he needs another day of matches tomorrow to get his head together. If he was to lose this one, then fly home in this frame of mind. Oh wow, and that's not going to help his frame of mind at all. But he can't let his tournament finish with this sort of way of thinking. Go home feeling it's been a rotten trip.
Foul.
Well, this is incredible. I mean, he was kind of looking at the rail there as if it bounced off a bit hard, but you know, he shouldn't be going anywhere near the 6. He should just be coming up middle of the table. Took his frustration out here, just kind of whacked it, didn't even hit the ball. Ralf Souquet ball in hand. Oh, that's a big moment that in this match. He had a good chance there to get a 3-0 lead on Ralf. And there you see, that is a man in despair.
It's hard to know whether he's reached the point of not caring at all, or caring so much it's letting him, or he's letting it get to him.
Well, what's Ralf Souquet played here with ball in hand? I'm just amazed where he put the cue ball. He's put the cue ball straight on the pink 4 to run through. May have had a slight heavy contact, but you know, why put it there? Why not play position for the purple 5 in the same pocket? I mean, look at this. Have you ever seen Ralf do something like this? This is incredible. Big shot coming up. Yeah, and judged it well, but he needs the cue ball to slow down, otherwise he's got another tricky shot.
Meanwhile, Niels Feijen is 5 balls away from a place in the semi-finals. He's closing in on making it 2-all against Ekland Kachi. And if he gets to that stage, it effectively doesn't matter what happens for the rest of the match in terms of his prospects of getting through, because he'll be guaranteed a top 4 place on Rack's countback at the very least.
Nice shot there from Ralf. Wasn't easy. Queuing down on the cue ball. Spinning the cue ball around 3 rails for the 7. Nice shot.
Albin Ouschan has spent a lot of time over the last 24 hours or so bemoaning his luck. But really, he had every chance to go 3-0 up. And to be fair, he made a bit of a mess of it. And Ralf Souquet has eventually taken advantage of that. He's closed in to 2-1 down. More in a moment.
This championship is being played with the new Aramith tournament set. Featuring a unique molecular structure, it guarantees razor-sharp precision and unsurpassed longevity. Unquestionably the best pool balls in the world, this set is available in a TV and a value pack version, as well as in the new My Aramith Ranger of Ball and Q cases. Now you can bring and play with the best ball set everywhere you go. My Aramith, bringing new dimensions to your billiards experience.
Niels Fine has won the fourth rack to level at 2-2 against Ekland Kachi, and that means that Fine is now guaranteed to claim the last place in the Group 2 semi-finals, along with Misko Fortunski, Ekland Kachi and Kelly Fisher. So that means that of the three players in this group who featured in the semi-final stage of Group 1, two of them will be back there, Kachi and Fine. Now it's just a matter of resolving who finishes where and therefore who plays who in those semi-finals. Remember, Kachi will finish in first place if he wins the match, otherwise it will be Fortunski. But the other player in this group who featured in the semis last night is in a whole different situation. Albin Ouschan, battling here to stay in the tournament at all. He's got to win this match to do so. If he doesn't, he'll finish bottom. Really should have gone 3-0 up. Messed it up. Souquet closed to 2-1 and has the break in the fourth.
Yeah, big well done to Kelly Fisher. She had a good run yesterday, winning her first two matches. Unfortunately lost her last four, so we didn't see her in the semi-finals, but she was still here to fight another day, and she's made it through to the semi-finals, so we will see her back shortly. Of course, we don't know who she's going to play yet.
Yeah, well, as it stands, she's holding third place. Now, if Fine wins one more rack, then the least he can finish on is 3 match wins and 21 rack wins. So that would mean that he would go above her. So if Fine wins one more rack, which he's closing in on doing, then that means Kelly Fisher finishes fourth and she plays whoever finishes in first place, which would be Kachi, as I say, if he wins this. And otherwise it would be Fortunski. Anyway, that's what's going on the other table. So now the really big issue for the moment is which player ends tonight in the situation Chris Robinson did last night, i.e. being knocked out of the tournament altogether.
Yeah, and of course Niels can't play Kelly in the semi-finals, can he? Which is probably good news to Niels, because they've played twice so far this week and Kelly's won both matches.
Yeah, she's beaten Ralf Souquet twice as well. At one stage it looked like being a much worse day for Fisher today than it was yesterday. She had only won one match. She then had a few defeats, and a couple of them were quite heavy actually. But she really turned it round towards the end of the round robin section. Back-to-back wins over Albin Ouschan and Niels Fine, and that changed everything for her.
Yeah, Albie was looking good in this match to take a 3-0 lead. Made a very, very silly error by his standard of play. And he's just chucked Ralf a little lifeline. Ralph's just come around the table to see if there's a possible combination shot on. Yellow one onto the 7, not easy. There's a lot of distance and the 7's not exactly over the pocket. You could see Albin was still slumped in his chair, still doesn't look happy at all. Yeah, that didn't go in, and then another roll on the 1 just flicked the 7 again, which helped it fall. And this is not the easiest of shots. After this ball, he's on the red ball, the red 3 that is at the bottom. So he's got to try and find a good path. There's a lot of balls down here as well, so there's a bit of danger here. There you can see Albin looking up into the skies.
Niels Fine did win that 5th rack against Eklund Kachi, so that means he now overtakes Kelly Fisher. She will definitely finish in 4th place. And Fine, I guess that means we'll finish 3rd, because even if he was to win the match, he'd be on 4 wins. Fortunsky will be ahead of him with 5 wins. He'd join Kachi, having won 4 matches. But Fine would be on 23 racks, whereas Kachi is already on 24. So Fine will finish 3rd, Fisher will finish 4th.
Yeah, and Ralf, I don't know if he was a little bit unlucky, wasn't easy. It was all about pace. I said there was a few balls down there that could cause problems. There was also a corner pocket. So Albin's back at the table with ball in hand. Yeah, the top spots between Fortunsky and Kachi all depends on if Kachi wins this match or loses it. That's just merely for the top spot to see who will play Kelly Fisher. I'm sure Kelly doesn't really care. The main thing is she's in the hat. She has made it through to the semi-finals.
Well, when you consider the calibre of players in this tournament, and in particular in these first 2 groups, if you'd said to her on Monday morning she'd still be here for Group 3 on Wednesday, I think she'd be very happy with that. Actually being in a group semi-final is a real bonus, and of course she might not be here on Wednesday because she might be already through to that winners group.
Albin's really going through the motions. He's disgusted with the shot he's just played. If he leaves the cue ball on the side rail, he can't fail. Now he's had to play a genius shot, and of course he's probably landed straight. If he's got a little bit of an angle, he can force this cue ball through off the 2 rails. So he'll play this with top left, and just you'll see the cue ball bounce through off the 2 rails like so. So he's a little bit fortunate there. If he'd have landed straight, he would have had problems, but he's still got to cue this long ball in. Obviously doesn't feel 100% himself, so key to this shot is nothing silly, just stay still and deliver the cue through straight, which he did.
Threw away the chance to lead this match 3-0. But he has taken the opportunity to lead it 3-1. Ouschan now just 2 racks away from securing his continued involvement in the Predator Championship League. Eklund Kachi back on level terms now, Carl, on the other table.
Yeah, you can see Albin's just banging the cue on his head, and you know, Albin's, you know, he's a big practicer. He's got an academy with his sister in Austria, and I know he goes there and he practices a lot. This is not down to not practicing. This is all between the ears, Albin. Over to table 2, it's 3-3. Niels is at the table. I'm sure Niels would have known what he needs to do in this match.
Oh yeah, if there's anyone who would have been on top of that, it would be him, wouldn't it? Always so well prepared and meticulous. Played well in this match, actually. He may well be about to lead at 4-3. Ouschan leading this one. 3 racks to 1.
Mr. Ouschan is to break.
Oh, and he's scratched. Well, he potted 4 balls off the break the first time he broke in this match, 3 balls the second time, and 2 balls this time. The difference is, third time round, as I say, he's given ball in hand to Souquet.
Yeah, Ralph's got ball in hand, but it's come out a little bit tricky. It's the story of Ralph's day, this. Of course, they're not going to go over the pocket, are they? So he's got to try and pop this 3 ball. And the 4 ball is tied up with the purple 5, so he's got a little bit of working out to do in this rack. Just looking at maybe coming over where his Q-tip is to play a bank.
It is 4-3 to fire now on the other table. And I've got to say, I'm a bit surprised Ouschan hasn't had a warning tonight, because he got one last night for less, in terms of the banging of the cue and the various histrionics along the way. Now, you can end up being sanctioned. Ball in hand is certainly one option that the referee can award. I'm not saying one way or another whether he should, but it's the same referee who gave him a warning last night for arguably less.
Yeah, John Lehman won't be scared of dishing out the warnings, the yellow cards and the red cards, that's for sure. So we'll keep an eye on that. I'm sure if this match gets a little bit closer and we might see something. I'm not so sure if Ralf just slightly overhit that ball. I presume he was playing for the pink 4 into the top right pocket. So he's potted the 3 and now he's ducking, he's playing safe. Yeah, that's a tasty shot. Of course, Albin's got, I mean, it's pretty easy to hit this off the bottom rail, one rail. He's got to be a little bit careful, because if he hits this 4 ball wrong, he could scratch and give ball in hand again. So it all depends on where he hits it. And then you see it's going near the corner, but he'll be delighted with that. Played a nice shot, nice speed. So Ralf, with his ball in hand, potted a ball and laid a snooker. Maybe he could have tried to break the 4 out, but he didn't, so it's his shot. Playing off this thin, trying to get it back behind the 8. Used to be very, very good at that type of shot. Now will Albin play safe, or will he fire at the bank in the side? I think the safety shot is the easy option. He can try and get the cue ball in behind the 8 or over to the 5 end of the rail. Nice shot, safe 4 ball as well, so Ralph's missed a bit of a trick in this rack. I think the way this group's gone, Michael, I think it's fair to say Ralf and Albin have just not been at the races today, have they? So that's why we're seeing them in this battle. Yeah,
Absolutely fair to say that. And like I say, there was a time earlier in the day when Ouschan did give some hope. He beat Eklund Kachi, and he looked to be relishing it just for a little bit. But then he goes out in his next match, 1 or 2 things start going against him, and he's been beaten by Kelly Fisher, and it's really continued in that vein since. But yeah, it's just been a poor day really for Ralf Souquet all round. He started by losing to Kelly Fisher for the 2nd day in a row. He did take Niels Fayen to a hill-hill finish, and the same against Misko Fortunski. But just as the day's gone on, his confidence, his belief seemed to have ebbed away. And he was soundly beaten by both excellent Catchy and David O'Cady.
Yeah, that was a good shot. He knew he could just roll on to the pink 4 and not leave Albin a pot. Yeah, it's a big rack list now, 3-1 to Albin. If he wins this rack, he will be on the hill. And that's a nice little gap to have. And if Ralphie boy wins it, he'll be back in the match. And over on table 2, Eklund's just played a bit of a shocker of a safety shot, and he's gifted Niels Fine a chance to take the rack and match. So that would mean Catchy stays in second place. And it would mean they would meet again, I believe, in the semi-finals. Is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly what would happen. They actually met at the end of the round-robin section last night, Catchy and Fine. And Catchy won that one. I think they were both already through at that stage, actually.
Yeah, so a Fine win means these two would play again in the semi-finals. And if Catchy would have won, Fine would have played for Chunski. So
yeah, so it's going to be for Chunski, who finishes top, and he'll play Kelly Fisher.
Nice shot there by Ralph. Cued that one well. Not really been knocking them type of shots in. So that's a little bit of a good sign, and he's got a nice chance of a combination here. Purple 5 onto the brown 7. Usually pretty good at this type of shot. Niels Fine on table 2 makes the 9 and wins that match 5-3.
So now this really is the only remaining issue to be resolved, and the only remaining match in the round-robin section. Ralf Souquet battling away here. Really would be incredible, given all the reverses and bits of misfortune he's had today, if he was to end up staying in for another group. But it's becoming a more and more realistic possibility. If he can take this back to only 3-2 down, and then he has the break in the 6th rack.
So Ralph can just play this ball off 2 rails. As long as he gets over to the side of the table, over to the right hand side, he's fine. Maybe at the 3rd rail as well. No, he's near the rail. As long as he's got enough angle, he should be fine. But he would have liked that cue ball to slow up a little bit. This could be a little bit funky. He might be leaving himself a longer 9 than he would have liked.
and this could be a big moment. That's almost certainly going to mean 4-1 now, and it just changes everything. Souquet would have been breaking off, looking to draw level, instead of which he'll be breaking off, facing a long road back into this match. And that could be the key moment, potentially the decisive moment in his whole campaign here.
Yeah, that was a huge miss there from Ralf, and that was all caused from the shot before. If he'd have played the cue ball round off the third rail and tried to slide up to the top rail, he'd been guaranteed a perfect angle, and I think maybe Ralf just tried to hold the cue ball and just left it on that funny little angle, but never expected him to miss that, even though he has missed a few balls, and you would think that mistake is probably going to cost Ralf Souquet this match, and unfortunately we won't be seeing him tomorrow.
Yeah, and he'd be the first player to go through a group losing every match, because Chris Robinson, who finished bottom of Group 1, did manage to get a win at the last attempt. And there is the table at the moment. So, as we were saying, it'll be Fortunsky against Fischer. That'll be on this table. So we'll be seeing that one. We'll also be keeping a close eye on Kachi against Fine, which will be going on the other table at the same time. David O'Cady not getting through, but of course he will be back, along with the beaten finalist and the beaten semi-finalists for Group 3 tomorrow, plus the two new players coming in, Darren Appleton and Billy Thorpe. But who will take the last place? It looks like being Albin Ouschan, but we've seen a few unexpected twists already in this match. Ralf Souquet needs a few more now if he's to turn it round. He's breaking at 4-1 down.
Made a ball. Don't believe the one ball passes the 6. If it does, it doesn't pass clean. He would have to cheat the pocket. But you can't imagine Ralph's feeling too good at the moment. Huge mistake in the last rack. Was a glorious chance to get back to within 1. Now he has a mountain to climb.
I mean, the one thing you can say in his favour is he probably came here seeing anything as a bonus. A few days ago he wasn't going to be in the tournament. He was a very late call-up when Joshua Filler tested positive for COVID. He's got some matches under his belt. Picked up $900 in prize money yesterday. Won't get anything today, having finished bottom of the group, if indeed that's what happens now.
When it rains, it pours. He's played the cue ball in behind the brown 7, and he's potted the one in the side, and even Ralf has to chuckle at that. Look at this.
Yeah, and he's pretty tight to the 7 as well. So one false move here could be his last.
Yeah, and this is just so hard to hit. He's got to go off the side rail, try and find that little gap in between the pink 4 on the left and the centre. Yeah, kind of where his cue is around there, and then it's just so hard to judge. It's going to slide off that rail, and well, good luck. Well, he can't even reach the side rail, so he's going off the top rail, so he's going 3 rails.
Well, that's the thing, as I was saying, he's tight to the 7. That eliminates using the side rail. Oh, how close can you get? But it's ball in hand.
Foul. No contact.
Yeah, it was a valiant effort there, wasn't it? You could see how close he was to hitting that 2. And now Albin Ouschan, he's 4-1 up. He's got ball in hand, and he knows if he runs this rack, he can go to bed, and he'll be back tomorrow.
I think at the moment the going to bed bit probably appeals to him a bit more. You know, those of us who were still here at 1 o'clock in the morning, whether it was players, officials, commentators, all a bit wired. Don't think any of us slept, probably till gone 2. Anyway, it's not quite over yet. He's still got to do the job here. Now, I think they're actually starting the semi-final between Kachi and Fine over on the other table. Obviously, they have to wait for the start of Fortunsky and Fischer because the table isn't free, but they know Kachi's playing Fine. The table's there, so no reason to delay it any further.
I just hope for Albin's sake that if he wins this rack and goes on to win this match, he comes back tomorrow with a a lot better mindset, because I don't really want to see this from the likes of Albin. Usually he's very calm and collected at the table, and the last bunch of matches he's played, it's been a bit of a car crash, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment. And hopefully someone's in a position who's been watching this to have a bit of a word with them and say, look, you need to lighten up a bit here and give yourself a bit more of a chance. And the thing was, he was getting into bad mood really quite early on in the group, and in this format you really don't need to be doing that, because even if you do lose a couple of matches, you can play your way in, turn it round. It's good to see Ralf Souquet here. He's one of the true legends of the game at the age of 52. Of course, it would have been great to have Joshua Filler here. He's the reigning US Open champion, a former world champion, and would have been one of the favourites for the title. He had to pull out because of the positive test. We wish him well, but the consolation prize wasn't bad. We got to see Ralf Souquet playing for a couple of days, but he will go no further because he's going to finish having lost all of his matches in this group. All that remains now is for Albin Ouschan to apply the finishing touch on a 5-1 win, which keeps him in it. He's only won 2 of his matches, but that's enough to see him through in 6th place. He'll be back for Group 3 tomorrow, hopefully well rested and raring to go again. The semi-finals are next.